Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with a very special figure unboxing. Hope you guys enjoyed the little teaser for this figure at the end of the SSBE video. Today we are going to be taking a look at the absolutely insane Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku Masterlize Extra figure. Now, this figure is so monumental for a couple of reasons for you. For one, well, for you, for me too. For one, this figure has been kind of a grail piece of mine for a while. It's been a figure that I've really wanted in my collection for some time now. For two, this is not only one of the best sculpted Ichiban Kuji figures, one of the best sculpted Ichiban Kuji sets, but it's also one of my dumbest moments as a collector. And as we take a look at the box here, I'm going to explain to you why. When I first originally saw this full set, I don't know what I was thinking that day, to be completely honest with you. This particular Ichiban Kuji set is obviously a pretty crazy one in terms of the lineup, but what makes this set so special is that not only are all of the figures, at least if I'm remembering that correctly, are Masterlize Extra, or Masterlize. I'm actually not sure how you pronounce it. I've never heard anybody else say it out loud, except in other figure unboxings. Everyone says it differently. But Masterlize Masterlize Extra basically means that it's bigger than a standard Ichiban Kuji figure, right? I think you can tell by the box and the fact that I have to pull the camera back so far that that is the case. The thing was, with this set, I don't know why, but all of the figures in it I didn't really like. I just thought that the sculpt, like, in terms of the face wasn't that good. Like, the body looked pretty good, but everything about the face, in my opinion, on, like, all three of the main contenders, of course, being Vegeta, Goku, and Vegeta, were kind of, like, meh, in my opinion. But after, like, rethinking it and looking at this set over and over, I was like, Theo, what are you doing, bro? What on God's green earth are you thinking? This set is absolutely fantastic, and the faces look good. I think the only figure that I still kind of share that opinion for is maybe the Vegito. Otherwise, though, I think Gogeta's face looks great. I think it's very in character. I think MUI's face looks great. Obviously, he's super angry in this particular scene. And I don't know why I decided in that moment that literally one of the best Kuji sets of all time. Sorry about that. The camera froze on me. That one of the best Ichiban Kuji sets of all time was Stinky. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day. But here we are. We're finally taking a look at this figure. I will tell you right now, I'm not even going to, like, keep the curtain blind. Like I said, I'm still not the biggest fan of the Vegito. But I can tell you right now, I do already have the base form Gogeta as a substitute for the Super Master Stars Piece one that I reviewed that was awful. So look forward to that video. But I think you can already tell that this is kind of a big deal considering that it has plastic. Because Ichiban Kuji figures literally never have plastic unless they're like King Cluster Broly with a clamshell, basically. Which, by the way, this guy does have a clamshell. That should be his cranium right there. Let's get his body out. Holy cow. Now, like I said, again, because... Do we have the bottom in there? Yep, you can see the plastic that's meant to hold his feet right there. Because it's Masterlize Extra, like I said, this figure is going to be really big. Oh my gosh. He doesn't even fit on the camera when we have it down there. Let's get up there. Dun, da, da. He looks very weird headless, I got to admit. Oh my gosh. So we're going to get the stand out. We're going to get this man out. Let's take... Oh, wait. Whoa. I didn't even mean to do that. Okay, let's get him out of the bag, bro. He's already starting to spook me. So one thing that I'm seeing, actually, that I already love about this figure, I don't know if you've seen it already, but the neck peg. Let me get this out carefully. I know I literally just went silent, and I never do that in my videos, but this is a figure I want to be extra careful with, because it is pretty rare. Alright. So, first of all, the neck peg having a little bit of plastic wrap on it, or bubble wrap, is already a really good sign, because that means that they took good care of this figure in terms of packaging it. That looks so odd without his cranium on there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall sculpt, though. Really, really love the way that they did the pants. Look at the rip. Oh my, that is perfect. Like, I don't think I could ask for a better Goku pants rip than that right there. That is fantastic. That is clearly how I literally always say it, where they should sculpt it and then sculpt the rips around the body part. That's what they did here. And you can tell that's what they did here. You can even tell, like, here, it looks like that a little bit more because this is like an actual chunk. This one does look a little bit more like they took the chunk and shoved it in there, but it's a lot better than some other ones, certainly. I really like this rip down here, too. Like, that's so extra. They didn't need to do that, but it looks good. I love the little bit of the rope on the boots kind of coming up. Obviously, it's supposed to be like he's powering up. And I think the sculpt work on the top half, of course, that being the body. And look at the way that they did the sculpting on the bottom half and the top half of the gi. Obviously, of course, in the scene, Goku has his blue shirt ripped, so it makes sense that it would be layering over the orange part. But, like, oh my gosh, look at those back muscles. Oh, this is insane. This is like what, you know. You know how once in a while in my videos I talk about how sad it is that Bandai kind of really drops the ball sometimes, and then I say Bandai makes good stuff when I open a good figure? This is one of those Bandai makes good stuff figures. I cannot see a nick or a scratch on this thing either, which is very impressive considering what usually happens with Kuji figures. The only thing that I think I can see is there is a little bit of gapping on my arm right there, which I don't even know if you could really tell until I pointed it out to you. And on the back, it's a little bit harder to see, but actually, wow, it kind of does just mesh into the detail. Right there, you can see the arm was joined together. Yeah, no, on camera especially, it definitely just kind of like joins into the detail of the figure. Now, you're probably wondering, what is up with this really weird looking pose that my man is hitting right here? Let me set this down just so that I don't actually, you know, accidentally knock it over. How do I set this? I'm gonna set it to the side because I don't want to ruin the sculpting on the ripped pants. Okay, so everything should be contained in here, I believe. It is cool. I don't think I've ever seen them do something like this before, where they have this little like bottom thing to hold the different components. I like that a lot, actually. Ooh, there's the head. Okay, very cool. I like that a lot. Definitely they should think about doing that more often because I like that a lot. All right, the base is obviously very, very sturdy considering how big this figure is, and of course, you know, his pose. As you probably saw on the box, I did not mean to rip that open, but I'm not going to be selling this thing, so it's fine. As you probably saw on the box, the particular pose with this guy, ooh, it's a little bit slimy. Ew! That's kind of weird. Some of these Kuji figures have a little bit of like a slimy feeling. This isn't the worst one I felt, but on their stands. I will take clear base, by the way, over black any day. I do want to be careful, though, because as you can see, my fingerprints are kind of getting all over this thing already, and that's what you get with a little bit of the sticky texture. All right. Let's chuck him on there, though. I don't actually know which foot this goes on. Is it like this? That does look correct. I feel like that would support the figure more. Yeah, okay. That's definitely correct. Cool. Wow, that was one of the easiest stands I think I've ever put on, like, not really knowing which way it went on. That fits perfectly. And oh my gosh, look at that. It even lines up with the rope on the boot. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great connection right there. That might be, like, my favorite Kuji figure connection ever. Now, let's get this man ahead before we start seeing some SCP comments here. Oh, they wrapped it up too. How do I get this off? Do I cut it or no, I'll just do it this way, yeah. We'll just unwrap it very carefully. Oh my, oh, what? That is really good. That is really good. Look at that. Oh! Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Wow, that is a head sculpt if I have ever seen one. Look at the sculpt on the hair. Like, every hair is literally in the perfect place. Oh my gosh. I love the way that this bang extends really far out too. I love the expression. Cock to the side. Wow, 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 wow. What a head sculpt, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. The pieces on the hair are so big too. Like, look at that compared to my finger. Like, there we go. There's a good comparison. That's no slouch. The only thing I think I could complain about would be the lip there, which unfortunately, that's kind of how Kuji does it. So, it is what it is, come to be expected. And even the black line doesn't really look too bad on the mouth, because usually it looks kind of bootleggy, but I think it looks alright. Wow, okay, this is, I mean, I knew the hair was going to be big, but, like, this is insane. Let's go ahead and stick it on the figure. Obviously, because he's looking backwards, the putting it on is going to be a little bit weird. Let me center that a little bit for you. Perfect. Okay. Gently. We're going to gently put this on, and then we'll figure out, ooh, it slides on there nicely. Okay. I don't want to, obviously, ooh, I don't like that. Here, let me pick it up to put the head on. Holy cow, this figure already has some presence. I'm kind of getting chills just looking at it like this. Okay, I think it's on there. That's a pretty good connection at the neck. Obviously, because of the awkward angle from some angles, it's going to look a little bit weird. And I think, funny enough, that's actually one of the things that I complained about when I initially saw this figure, is that I wasn't looking at it like this, right? I was like, ooh, that kind of looks a little bit weird with how his neck is shaped like that. But obviously, even though it is a 3D object, I still think it looks good. And obviously, oh, well, the stand came out. Okay, maybe the stand's not as good as I thought. Let's get that in there solid. There we go. The point of the figure. Oh my gosh! Whoa! It looks a little bit different from my angle, because I am obviously looking at it from top down and you're looking at it from bottom up. Holy cow! That is so cool. So obviously, this is one of the only figures that I think I've ever owned, actually, where it's kind of designed to be looked at from the back. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is a striking figure, if I do say so myself. Like, this is one of those figures that I would recommend literally anybody to have in their collection. And not only that, I would also recommend it as, like, if you want one MUI Goku figure, this is the one to go with. Oh my gosh. I will say one thing that is making me a little bit sad, let me pick the boy up here real quick, is that on my arm, there is, I don't even know if the camera will pick it up, but there's these two little, like, blue dots on the shoulder. I know it's kind of hard to see. You can kind of see them there. Not the worst thing, but it's just unfortunate since I'm going to be displaying him from the back like this. I mean, again, you didn't really notice it until I probably pointed it out to you, but still. Oh my gosh, this thing is incredible. Oh, alright, it's size comparison time, baby. Right, so, I don't even really feel like this is a fair comparison. Obviously, we have our usual standard Ichiban Kuji Gotenks, as well as the Dokkan Battle 5th Anniversary Blue Goku. Oh my gosh! Huge. Insane, bro. Let me grab the ruler for you here. He stands at, that is over a foot tall. Are you kidding me, bro? That's like, probably 13.5 inches? Here, let me get it up a little bit more. I don't even know if you can see that on the camera. There we go. It's kind of hard also because since you're looking from a downward angle here. Let me lift the camera up and give you a little bit of a better angle here. Zoom in. Yeah, I think that's probably about maybe more like, I can't even really tell. Like 13.25, I think is probably a good estimate. Yeah. That's going to be my final answer for you here in terms of the size. Holy cow, though. That is... Oh, man. All right. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and do some quick compare... Well, quick. I'm not going to be quick about it probably, but... Let's go ahead and do some comparisons here. We actually have 4 figures to compare him to here. For one, y'all know that I had to bring this guy out considering he was literally, you know, the one who teased me unboxing this figure. And that, of course, is the Blue Evolution Vegeta. Obviously, since this guy is a, well, you know, giant figure. He, of course, towers over Blue Evo. Funny enough, it almost kind of looks like he's looking down at Blue Evo in the particular setup that I have them in. But these two do look really, really cool together. I do think that Blue Evo will maybe fit a little bit better with some other Bam Presto figures, but nonetheless, still a very cool pair. And these guys' like pose honestly kind of complement each other despite the size. That is a little bit weird to say if I am being 100% honest with you, but that is a pretty cool duo, if I do say so myself. Both of these guys, super striking. I really hope that someday we end up getting a Blue Evo figure of this size. I don't know what pose they would do it in, because usually these taller figures don't have super dynamic poses because, you know, they're harder to stand and they're harder to balance out the weight. But it would be cool to get something even with him just standing there someday. I did have to bring out my current favorite Ichiban Kuji figure in terms of the sculpt. He's a little dusty because he actually sits on my desk because I love him that much. It is the Master Roshi, aka the Jackie Chun. I know he's a little bit blurry because unfortunately it's hard to get him a good angle with Goku. But the reason why I'm bringing him out, because I know it's kind of like, what? Him? You know, for a Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku? Like, that's kind of weird. He is currently my favorite Ichiban Kuji figure that we've gotten to date. I think the sculpting on this figure is fantastic. Obviously, the fact that it's a Master Roshi, even a Jackie Chun figure, you know, moreover, is impressive. But I think that this Goku might just be competing with the sculpt. Obviously, it's always kind of hard to give you my perfect thoughts on these when, you know, it's a figure this different in size. But nonetheless, even though these guys probably aren't going to be sitting on the shelf together, I think that it is something very impressive to say in the fact that their sculpting is on par with each other. I think on both ends of the spectrum, really, that Jackie Chun is so small and Goku is so big. Let's go ahead and move on to our second to last comparison. This one I had to do just for the sake of the size, and we may need to lift up the camera a little bit more here and move our boy over, because besides the giant ape, the golden one, of course, the golden Ozaru figure that I reviewed, this is most certainly the biggest figure in my collection at the moment. Y'all know him well. I'm sure most of you have seen the video. Of course, that is the King Cluster Broly. His stand is a little bit finicky. There we go. You have to kind of press it in there. Maybe I'll just hold on to him for you. But it is absolutely insane to me that this Broly figure is literally this big, and the Goku figure still rivals his size. Obviously, Broly's pose is, of course, a little bit more dynamic. It's not super crazy. He's just shooting a ki blast. But, like, I'm going to be careful that he doesn't fall. I got an eye on him. Don't worry. Because he's just, like, so tall, right? It's so impressive to me that Goku literally, like, is almost height for height with this guy. That is absolutely crazy to me. Lifting my camera up to the next biggest size here, you can actually see that these guys are literally almost hair for hair compared to each other on how big they are. That is absolutely insane, if I do say so myself. Wow. I did not think that I would have a figure that would rival Broly in terms of height, besides the monkey, obviously. But, wow, that's pretty crazy. Now, there is one more figure that I'm sure that if I did not show this guy, the entire comment section would be asking me about it. I think it's only appropriate that I show this guy, considering he is currently, I would say, the biggest, baddest, my favorite of the Ultra Instinct Goku figures. That, of course, being the Grandista MUI Goku. Funny enough, from that video that I did summoning him for the JP 6th anniversary, still holding the Dragon Stone. But for the sake of this video, sorry Goku, I'm going to take that for a sec, bro. You'll get it back, don't worry. But I think this should tell you right here the absolute insane difference in height between these guys. Literally, the Masterlized one is a head taller than the Grandista one. And the Grandista one is no slouch in terms of a height for a Dragon Ball line, right? This guy is crazy. You can see a lot of the differences between these two figures in terms of the coloring as well. The Grandista one, Goku's skin is a little bit of a darker tone as well. The pants are definitely a little bit darker rather than the Ichiban Kuji one's brighter oranges. Which I don't think necessarily either one are bad. I think it's just kind of what you prefer, right? I think both looks are good. One looks maybe more like, you know, obviously the brighter colors pop a little bit more and it's maybe more like anime-esque. But the other one almost kind of looks like a fan-painted one, which was what the overseas colored version was kind of going for, which is the one that you're looking at right now. Both of these figures are sculpted fantastic, and even though the pose is obviously very similar, literally the only difference basically is, you know, the head being different. One is Goku kind of looking to the side or at you, and the other one is Goku looking behind him at you in this case, or I guess at the Grandista one in this case. So both of these figures I honestly feel like are worth owning because they both bring different things to the table despite being a very similar size. I will say though, looking at it, I do think that I like the Kuji hair sculpt a little bit more, and it's only because it feels more flowy and it feels more natural. Like it almost feels like those individual like big chunks of hair kind of slowly flowing in the wind, flowing in the Ultra Instinct aura, and I think that helps a lot by the fact that his spikes are a little bit more up than the other one is, right? Like, now that I'm looking at it, funny enough, I feel like the hair on the Mastered Ultra Instinct Grandista one is almost more of like the Omen hair just painted silver. While it still looks fantastic, I think the Kuji one definitely captures that look a little bit better. And of course, this is also partially because of the paint job on the overseas version of the Grandista one, but of course the hair is a lot more shiny on the Ichiban Kuji one. That's just kind of your preference. I have a couple of different MUI Goku figures, which maybe someday I'll do a video on literally all of them that I have and telling you what I like and don't like about all of them. But I think it's just kind of preference in terms of the hair color. I don't really think either one is bad. Thank you guys, though, so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed. I know I most certainly did. Obviously, this is a figure that I've wanted in my collection for some time now. As soon as I realized the huge mistake that I made, I was like, yeah, no, bro. We need to get this guy in the collection. I will leave some links in the description to some place that you can pick him up if I can find him. I actually got this guy myself at the recent anime convention that I went to, Anime Midwest, for a little bit of a high price point. And the only reason I would ever spend that much on a Kuji figure is, one, because this guy is rare and eBay, look at the prices! And obviously his size, right, is really big. And of course, because it's something that I really wanted, I was willing to pay a little bit more for it. I don't know if I would recommend you paying that price. I would say that I'm personally satisfied after opening up the figure and taking a good hard look at it, right, with paying that much. If you are satisfied with paying that much, then by all means, I would say definitely go for it. But I would say that all things considered, right, this guy maybe aim for like second-hand market, maybe more so like 50 to 75 at the high end, because obviously, you know, he's hard to find and you can't pre-order him or get him for the standard price anymore because everywhere and their mother has realized how valuable this guy is on the second-hand market. Even on Amazon, I don't think I've ever seen him for the original price, so kind of unfortunate on that front. But if you can find this guy, pick him up without a doubt. Literally, like, just do it. This is, I don't think I've said that in a while for a figure. When you see it, just buy it. But yes, if you see it, buy it. If you would also like to support my figure collecting endeavors on any upcoming figures, you can do so on the old Patreon. Of course, it allows me to do videos like this where I can pick up some more expensive figures. Obviously, since this guy was a little bit of a wallet buster, even though I think it was well worth the price, you know. Greatly appreciated if you could help out your boy. Of course, please do not feel obligated. You watching, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, especially just watching and enjoying the video, means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I will see y'all in the next one. Man, I think we found one of the best Dragon Ball figures I've ever reviewed. Ah! Also, I'm sorry, I know I'm interrupting your peaceful end to the video, but I think I can confidently say for the first time on any Ichiban Kuji figure that I've opened that the face on the final version of the figure is actually better than the one on the box. How did Bandai pull it off?